by the rivers of Babylon. Oh, where we sat down, and everywhere.
Absolutely, bringing it into the classroom, because music is that element of the humanity that transcends barriers. Don't joke with your life longer. Give me my bicycle.
If it's your bicycle, take it now.
Jimmy Cliff, the reggae icon and the only icon that was alive with an Order of Merit in Jamaica, passed away earlier today.
Yo, one of the Eastside dancehall, Lincoln Terrage Records. One of the Talkai Town in dancehall, Lincoln Terrage Records. Your entourage, the meat you know eat from man, your ruggedness.
Bless up, and welcome back to Entourage Records. You're new via here, please consider subscribing. Turn on your post notification bell so whenever I make a new upload, you can be the first to be notified. The entire music fraternity, both in Jamaica and international, was saddened by the passing of Jimmy Cliff, one of reggae's pioneer and one of reggae's musical icon. James Chambers was known professionally as Jimmy Cliff. He was a Jamaican ska, rocksteady, reggae, and soul musician, multi-instrumentalist, singer, and actor. At the time of his passing, he was the only living reggae musician to hold the Order of Merit, the highest honor that can be granted by the Jamaican government for achievements in the arts and sciences. Cliff is best known among mainstream listeners and audiences for songs such as Many Rivers to Cross,
Many rivers to cross, but I can't see.
Follow My Mind,
If I follow my mind, I never go wrong.
You Can Get It If You Really Want,
You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really.
The Harder They Come, and we all know that song The Harder They Come also was in the movie of the same name with soundtracks and the whole works.
The harder they come, the harder they fall. On and on.
Reggae Night, which are one of our favorites,
Reggae night, we come together when the feeling right.
and his covers of Hakuna Matata, Cat Stevens' Wild World, and Johnny Nash, I Can See Clearly Now, and that I wanna enough our favorite as well. And this was also from the film Cool Runnings.
I can see clearly now, the rain is gone.
Cliff starred in the film The Harder They Come, as I mentioned before, which helped popularize reggae around the world. And Club Paradise. Cliff was one of the 5 performers inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in the year 2010.
I accept this on behalf of the people of the Caribbean, Africa, South America, Europe, and Asia, all the world, because these are the people that have supported me.
Jimmy Cliff was born James Chambers on 30th of July 1944 in the parish of St. James, Jamaica. He was the second youngest of 9 children. He began writing songs while still at primary school in St. James, listening to a neighbor's sound system. When Chambers was 14, his father took him to Kingston, where he would adopt the stage name Jimmy Cliff. Cliff sought out many producers while going to school, trying to get his songs recorded without success. And in those times, it's very hard. A country boy forward a town, plus him is a school youth. It's hard for them producers even try with you any at all. He also entered talent contest. One night, I was walking past a record store and a restaurant as they were closing, pushed myself in and convinced one of them, Leslie Kong, to go into the recording business, starting with me. And that's what Jimmy Cliff write in a biography. After 2 singles that failed to make much impression, his career took off when Hurricane Hattie became a hit song while he was just the age of 17 years old. It was produced by Kong, with whom Cliff remained until Kong's death from a heart attack in 1971. So this tells us that the great man Jimmy Cliff was loyal. Him remember that it was Kong who gave him that start, and he stayed with him all the way to Kong's death. Jimmy Cliff's later local hit singles included King of Kings, There's Beverly, Miss Jamaica,
You're my Miss Jamaica, my Miss Jamaica.
and Pride and Passion. In 1964, Cliff was chosen as one of Jamaica's representatives at the World's Fair in New York. And in the same year, Cliff was featured in a program called This Is Ska, alongside Prince Buster, Toots and the Maytals, and Byron Lee and the Dragonaires. Cliff was signed to Island Records and moved to United Kingdom. As with most of the Jamaican artists back then, most of them, as they start getting certain buzz, they were signed to Island Records. And Island Records initially and unsuccessfully, they tried to sell Cliff to the rock audience, to the rock and roll audience, but his career took off late in the 1960s as far as the rock audience is concerned. His international debut album was Hard to Travel, and it was released in 1967. It received excellent reviews and included Waterfall, which was composed by Nirvana's Alex Spiropoulos and Patrick Campbell Lyons, which became a hit in Brazil and won the International Song Festival. Waterfall was followed in 1969 by Wonderful World, Beautiful People,
Wonderful world, beautiful people, you and your girl.
and Vietnam in 1960. Both popular throughout most of the world, Bob Dylan called Vietnam the best protest song he had ever heard. Additionally, he released Many Rivers to Cross in 1969 about his struggles with the music industry. The song has since been covered by many other artists including Cher, UB40, and John Lennon. Also during this period, Cliff released a cover of Cat Stevens' Wild World as a single.
Oh, baby, baby, it's a wild world. It's hard to get by.
In 1972, Cliff starred as Vincent Ivanhoe Martin, known as Reggae, in the classic reggae film, The Harder They Come, directed by Perry Hensel. As the film tells Martin's story, he's a young man without funds. Arriving in Kingston from the country, he tries to make it in the recording business, but without success. Eventually, he turns to a life of crime.
Don't joke with your life longer. Give me my bicycle.
If it's your bicycle, take it now.
The soundtrack album of the film was a huge success that sold well around the world, bringing reggae to an international audience for the first time. This film remains one of the most internationally significant films to have come out of Jamaica since the nation's independence from Great Britain. In 1976, Jimmy Cliff sang on the first season of Saturday Night Live, hosted by Dick Cavey, after a series of albums. Cliff took a break and traveled to Africa. The Nigeria-based Jamaican writer Lindsey Bart was instrumental in Cliff's trip there, and subsequently converted to Islam, taking the name of El Haj Neam Bachir. In a 2020 interview, Cliff expressed a strong affinity with the religious and intellectual knowledge of ancient Egypt, skepticism of government handling of the COVID-19 pandemic, and denied his earlier conversion to Islam, claiming it didn't satisfy my soul. Cliff quickly returned to music, touring for several years before he recorded with Kool and the Gang. In 1984, Cliff appeared at the Pinkpop Festival in Landgraaf, Netherlands. During the River Tour, Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band added Cliff's previously little-known song Trapped to their live set. It achieved great prominence when included on 1985 We Are the World benefit album. The follow-up, Cliff in 1985, won a Grammy Award for Best Reggae Album, though it was his last major success in the United States until 1993. Also, in 1985, Cliff contributed to the song Sun City, a protest song written and composed by Steve Van Zandt and recorded by Artists United Against Apartheid to convey opposition to the South African policy of apartheid. Cliff then provided backing vocals on the Rolling Stones' 1986 album Dirty Work and appeared in the comedy Club Paradise, co-starring with Robin Williams and Peter O'Toole, and also contributed several songs to the soundtrack, including 7-Day Weekend, which he sang with Elvis Costello in 1988. His song, Shelter of Your Love, was featured in the 1988 film Cocktail. Cliff also appeared in the film Marked for Death in 1990, performing John Crow with the Jimmy Cliff Band. His recording of You Can Get It If You Really Want was used as a campaign anthem by the Sandinista National Liberation Front in the 1990 election in Nicaragua. In 1991, he performed at the second Rock in Rio Festival in Estadio do Maracana in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. He continued to sell well in Jamaica and to a lesser extent the UK, returned to the mainstream pop charts in the US and elsewhere, #1 in France with a version of Johnny Nash, I Can See Clearly Now, on the Cool Runnings film soundtrack in 1993. In 1995, Cliff released a single, Hakuna Matata, a collaboration with Lebom, a song from the soundtrack of the film The Lion King.
Hakuna Matata, what a wonderful phrase.
In 2001, Cliff became an inaugural member of the Independent Music Awards judging panel to support independent artists. In 2002, Cliff released the album Fantastic Plastic People in Europe after first providing free downloads using P2P software. This album featured collaborations with Joe Strummer, Annie Lennox, and Sting, as well as new songs that were very reminiscent of Cliff's original hits. In 2004, Cliff completely reworked the songs, dropping the traditional reggae in favor of an electronic sound for inclusion in Black Magic. The album also included a recording of Over the Border with Joe Strummer. Cliff performed at the closing ceremony to the 2002 Commonwealth Games, and in 2003, his song, You Can Get It If You Really Want, was included in the soundtrack to the film. Something's Gotta Give, he also appeared in July 2003 at the Palio Festival in Niland, Switzerland. The Jamaican government under PJ Patterson honored Cliff on 20th October 2003 by awarding him the Order of Merit, the nation's fourth highest honor in recognition of his contributions to the film and music of Jamaica. In 2007, Cliff performed at the opening ceremony at Cricket's World Cup. In the spring and summer of 2010, Cliff embarked on an extensive tour of the US and Canada. In 2007, You Can Get It If You Really Want was adopted by the British Conservative Party during their annual conference. He was quoted in The Independent as saying, "One of my bandmates called me this morning to tell me the news. I can't stop them using the song, but I'm not a supporter of politics. I've heard of Cameron, but I'm not a supporter. I don't support any politician. I just believe in right or wrong." In September 2009, Cliff was nominated for induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Following a campaign on his behalf by the American Charles Earl, Cliff reacted to the news by saying, "This is good for Cliff, good for Jamaican music, and good for my country." On 15 December 2009, he was officially announced as an inductee and was inducted on 15 March 2010 by Wyclef Jean. Cliff is one of only 2 Jamaicans in the Hall of Fame, the other being Bob Marley. Cliff appeared in the 2011 documentary Reggae Got Soul, the story of Toots and the Maytals, which was featured on BBC. In 2011, Cliff worked with producer Tim Armstrong, lead singer of American punk band Rancid, and on the EP The Sacred Fire, and the full-length album Rebirth. Rebirth won a Grammy Award for Best Reggae Album. The album was listed at number 12 on Rolling Stone magazine's list of the top 50 albums of 2012, with the description, "There's ska, rocksteady, roots reggae, a revelatory cover of the Clash's Guns of Brixton, delivered in Cliff's trademark soulful tenor, grittier but still lovely more than 40 years after his debut." In December 2012, Cliff was named Artist of the Year by digital newspaper Caribbean Journal, citing his work on Rebirth. In August 2022, Cliff released the album Refugees. On November 2024, Jimmy Cliff, reggae legend and Jamaican icon, dies at 81. Reggae have lost one of its pioneers, and the family of Jimmy Cliff have lost a great man. Condolences to Jimmy Cliff's family and to the entire reggae fraternity. I was fortunate enough to see Jimmy Cliff perform for that 2004-2005 Rebel Salute down there in St. Elizabeth. And St. Elizabeth, at a time right now, is going through a crisis. If you have the subscribers, won't leave in the thoughts and a comment in the comment section so we can talk about it. We've come to the end of another video. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel, those who have done so as well. Also, please turn on your post notification bell so whenever I make a new upload, you can be the first to be notified. Peace out, blessed up. I'll definitely catch you in the next one.